2 years ago, when I decided to start doing these quick video reviews, the first game to review was The Playdead's Inside. I loved it and I hope that it would remind people about the cinematic platformers genre, and we'll get more good games like that. Little Nightmares, through the sheer magic of having DLCs, manages to be both great and a bad example of the genre. The selling point of the game is undeniably the visuals. The game looks like a stop-motion animated feature. It's a brilliant mix of technology and art style that is helped by a very good, if not particularly amazing, sound design and music. The game is also paced really well, with the usual for the genre switches between activities, and while it's not as varied as some other examples in the genre, it has a very good mix of stealth and puzzling with rare quick platforming bits, and it knows how to make cool scenes. You will be switching from one horrifying in imagery and implications scene to the other, sometimes almost forgetting that the cool things that you're seeing is something that you're actually controlling. Sadly, however, scenes is how far the story design goes. The game starts with a pretty curious take on an early age fears and horrible situations, but then goes a bit too far into rather boring and predictable horror imagery that doesn't leave any lasting impressions. It's nice when you're playing it, but when the game is done, it's very easy to just switch to something else and not to think about it. I also should mention that the game itself takes only about 2 hours to complete if you're not specifically searching for the secrets, but still finding some. That's how long it took for me, and I've found about 70% of the stuff or so without really trying to. I never care about the game length if it feels as much as it was needed, and it certainly ends before getting too old, but a lot of people might not like this, especially given the game pricing. And given that unskippable game credits take up about 8 minutes in a 2-hour game. Wow. But if the game lasted for longer, it would have become boring and ran out of ideas and scenes, as the DLCs perfectly showcase. They're rather inconsequential additions with very few interesting bits, lots of super boring and tedious sections, and are very much not worth the time spent on them. They also showcase just how bad and inconsistent the game controls are, which does become a problem in the main game but gets forgotten and forgiven there, yet stays in plain sight in the DLCs. Controls can be very sluggish for faster sequences, with jumping, pushing and climbing being at times more confusing than it should be, and it also has quite a strange control scheme which makes your head break every time you need to do a running, jump and grab. I like my time with the main game. While it's just outright avoid the DLCs, the main game is something to check on a discount or in a bundle, and it does bring me hope that we will be seeing even more good cinematic platformer titles in the near future.